Welcome everybody to the start of the day, the final day of DreamLeague here. It is Falcons versus Team Spirit, where Team Spirit Cinderin have given Falcons everything that they're best at. And in this case, they're going to be killing in the name of a 2-0. They gave Skeeter his Alchemist, Snake King his Enchantress. If they manage to break this strategy, which seems unlikely, but if they do, they might have just cracked the draft wide open for the series.
I love that we've reached the point where those are the heroes we highlight for Falcons and not Amar Timber.
Yeah.
That's quite the development, right? That's where we're at. But yeah, Snake King, like the panel talked about, on track to potentially one of the greatest records of all time, because as they were alluding to, stats like that can be a little bit misleading because it a lot of the time comes down to quality of opposition. But the thing is, you think about Falcons and what teams they've been playing for the last year.
Yeah.
The majority of their games have been against Tier 1 or Tier 1.5 teams, right?
Yep.
So the fact that Snake King is on a 19 win streak with Ench is unbelievable to me. Crazy stuff. Let's see if he can bring it to 20. And I also want to give a special mention, now that we're talking about good heroes for Falcons. Malreen mid Sand King. Amar said in the interview yesterday that he made that a thing this patch. So they have a ton of faith in him on this. So really, on the side of Falcons, everybody on S tier heroes for themselves. On Spirit, Miposhka's Bane is really good, but
yeah,
Bane is also one of my more played heroes, and I struggle to see the obvious reason for it here. I know Bane is good against Timber, because Timber a lot of the time in fights is separated from his team, so you get a lot of value out of Nightmare when he's diving deep to find kills. It effectively just becomes a stun. Fiend's Grip is very nice against him for holding him in place for a long time. As far as laning goes, it looks like Falcon's actually deviating from the norm here and putting crit in the safe lane. Maybe there's something about the Bane versus Lion matchup that they didn't want to bother with, so they're going to swap them around. Aside from that, for Spirit, we've seen the Satanic Dragon Knight do great in a lot of their games as carry, and Ruon Tusk has also really impressed. So I guess overall, with all the heroes that Spirit have picked, they are also very comfortable with their entire lineup. I guess the one that's been the most hit or miss has probably been Malik's Dawn. I don't know if you would agree with that.
Yeah.
But aside from that, very, very stable stuff from them too.
Looking at it, I actually quite like this swaparoo that they did. Being able to have stuns against the Dawnbreaker with the Starbreaker and the tag team, right? Anything that can slow down that damage in that window of time where tag team can be a big threat. I like that conceptually. We'll see how well Snake King's able to fare in the offlane position, but at least for Skeeter's safe lane, I feel like this is better setup for him.
I think that's a good point. Now that you say it, that's probably why they did this. I think they did it for Skeeter's sake, not for Crit's sake.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking to myself, I think Lion Timber would have been okay up here.
Sure.
I don't see the problem, but yeah, that bottom lane might have been very dangerous. And I don't know if Snake King is aware of his streak, but if he is, he will do anything.
I think I saw him retweet it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw him retweet it. So, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, why would you retweet that?
Yeah.
Why? Don't let your opponents know that like, you know, hey, this Enchantress is, yeah, he did repost it.
He plays for Falcons though, so his opponent have probably muted him on Twitter as well.
True. Especially after his OG antics.
Mute everyone on Falcons everywhere. That's the next level play. You don't just mute them in games to not get the voice lines. You just pretend they don't exist entirely.
Go anonymous mode in Dota and everything. Maybe this is when you get into these side battles 1v1 against the Bane, who's quite good at it. Enchantress is obviously, you know, pretty obnoxious.
I hate this matchup for Bane.
Yeah.
That's a side benefit here, is that Bane does not fare well against Ench at all. Because the way Bane usually in the past used to win its lanes was by being the best trader in the lane as a 5. Yeah. So you would just fight the enemy support, you would have really good stats. Brain Sap is one of the best, let's say, yeah, just damage exchange tools per mana cost, because it deals damage and heals at the same time.
Yep.
But Ench has the best one. The heal on Ench is ridiculous in terms of how much it does for the mana cost. It is expensive, but it is just so valuable. So you can trade with Bane no problem.
Yeah, it's what, 320 heal?
Is it
Level 1? Something like that? It's crazy.
It's more. I think it's 400. Right? No, you're right. It's 320. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Team Spirit's draft outside of the Bane. Why do you feel like they picked up this Dragon Knight first? Do you actually feel like it is their best carry for Satanic?
I think so. I think
Okay.
that's been the most consistently impressive carry for me that they've run. I think Satanic's best performances overall have been Dragon Knight and Morph, but they probably feel like you can't overall first pick Morph because then you're just going to get counterpicked too hard. That hero is a little bit more dependent on matchups.
Sure.
Falcons have also shown their ability to, or rather their willingness to. They did lose that game, but they were willing to run AA as a potential solution. So they picked the Dragon Knight, and in the first phase they banned Razor and Viper. So they were really trying to give Satanic as good a game as possible. I mean, so far the lanes for Spirit are looking quite good. Miposhka's gonna have to Nightmare. He might actually maybe die, I guess.
Maureen out of bottle charges, drops a branch to try and block off vision as he runs away. This matchup is not been fun for him. 20-6 compared to 19-2. CS-wise, he's doing fine, but the harassment is built up over time. He's going to have to take a quick trip back to base. Fortunately, he did go early boots, so that'll limit the time he's gone. What is this? What the hell's going on here?
Why did Amar take reactive armor in this lane? I wonder.
Maybe it's bad.
He's one of the heroes, one of the players in the world that I feel like I criticize the absolute least in the laning stage. This guy's a beast, and I almost always see the logic, and his mechanics are phenomenal, and his decision-making about playing aggressive or passive has been great too, overall.
I think
but
it's
this
the
one I
free up.
don't really get.
It's two right-clicking heroes, right? So it's already kind of value. Dragon Knight's kind of hard to kill. I think it's entirely just so he can solo. So Snake King can do whatever he wants with the Enchantress. He can go farm. He can go gank mid at some point. I think they're going to leave him alone relatively soon.
Yeah, so because right now I think that skill point versus having chain is not worth it.
Yep.
But as you said, if there's just flat out, if it's to enable his teammate, I get it. I think you're right. That's got to be it. Because I was just looking at Miposhka being low, and I was thinking, all right, he's going to unnightmare the Timber, and he might just kill him.
But then he didn't have Timber Chain.
He didn't have Chain, so he couldn't chase him there. And if you're playing against, let's say, Bane plus any ranged carry, I would way more understand the point in reactive breaks. Then you're going to be harassed a little more. Right. Going to go on to Satanic with the rotation from Crit, but they can't really commit into the tower for the time being.
Does leave Skeeter a bit alone, and he had most of his stack stolen away from him.
He's quite vulnerable here on his own. This move, I don't know if I really like this from Falcons. It didn't seem, well, he's still sticking around though on Crit. He's going to get spotted now by Miposhka, and now they're going to TP the Tusk. Oh, the jig's up.
Amar, what are you going to do about this when he's going to go into the trees, hit a pretty good whirling death? They're actually trying to blow up the Tusk, prevent the snowball and the ice shards from going out, but he's going to use it now. He'll be fine. They'll kill Crit, but as they come through, Amar will be able to get the counter kill. Miposhka picks up the first blood. It's 2v2, but they can't really dive for much more.
Snaking almost kept Crit alive there with the level 2 heal. So yeah, nice for Spirit. They get that rotation in from the Tusk with a Nightmare play. They get the first blood. And in the meantime, the Dawnbreaker will be solo laning against Alk, which should be a nice matchup.
Malik slightly ahead in experience over Skeeter, so he'll get his level 6 first, which probably doesn't mean much for this matchup, but could help out the others as Laurel. He's going to make the move for the Wisdom Rune here. Snake King. Oh, you can see Laurel's trying to not let Snake King know he's here early.
Yep.
He's going to surprise him last second, hit him with the Tornado, steal away the Wisdom Rune. Very smart. Cool play.
Nice. Very, very nicely done. Yeah, he made sure not to walk into Eng to show the Ghost Walk, so he stuck around the bottom half. And then even gets the TP out. So double Wisdoms here for Spirit, as well as First Blood. Should be feeling pretty happy about this situation. Getting levels on Bane is so powerful. I think this is one of the most level-dependent 5s in Dota, which might also be part of why it's not so popular, is you really need...
A little bit awkward as the Nightmare is taken off by the damage, but they still have the extra hero to ensure the kill.
Bane benefits a ton from levels because of just how well Nightmare scales. You really want the cast range on it in particular. That's the most important part, and I love the skill build from Miposhka. He's going the classic 0-2-4, it looks like. And then after that, you have the choice of do you want to start maxing out Enfeeble, or do you actually see value in Brain Sap? I think for this game, you could argue Enfeeble might not even be worth it.
Oh,
but
I don't know.
The cast range reduction against Timber is nice.
Yeah, I would say both Sand King and Timber would really hate Burrow Strike, and Timber Chain being reduced to nothing sounds miserable.
Yeah, it's a matter of what times do you get access to cast it on these heroes. And I think it's Timber is accessible. So maybe you're going to get it on Timber. I think on Sand King, usually the way fights break out is that he jumps in and he casts his spells, and then if you enfeeble him, the Sand King Burrow Strike cooldown will outlast it, right?
Right, that's fair.
So I think against the Timber it's nice, but I would probably... We'll see. Maybe he only gets 1 point, because I was just looking at this against Alk isn't great. Alk has a Self-Dispel. He's going to buy Manta and maybe Manta and BKB. So how reliable is it to have on him versus, you know, a lot of other like ranged carries where you really love getting Enfeeble?
Yeah.
Curious to see what his choice is going to be on that front.
And just taking away stacks non-stop. Team Spirit really came into this game. It's very encouraging. It feels like they came into this game with a clear game plan.
Yeah.
They gave Falcons a lot of the heroes that you would know they're going to take if they have the opportunity. Like Enchantress and Alchemist, I feel like were obvious pickups for Falcons just because how crazy successful they are. Those player-hero combinations, and they obviously have played well against it. Like the Alchemist, they're taking away all these small stacks that he has inside the safe lane. The Bane has worked out, I would say, pretty decently. Tag team gonna slow down Crit, sniped by the Snowball, and EMP burns him out. Laurel picks up another kill.
But the biggest play of the game so far was Laurel stealing the Wisdom, though. That's really... It's pretty unusual that this happens to Falcons, and you can tell from the way that they're placing their lanes and moving their heroes around that they're trying to bring Crit into the game by giving him mid. And in turn, Spirit are just going to exploit that and just kill him right away, because Blind cannot fend for himself in these kinds of situations. So a lot of what Falcons win their games on is in these first 15 minutes on having strong laning and then being the first movers on strong rotations, but they can't really do that when their levels on the supports just aren't there. So it gives Spirit a lot of the playmaking potential with this Quaswex Invoker and the Dawnbreaker ulti to be the ones to set the terms for the game.
They need this situation to go well for Team Spirit. They've got a Siege Wagon push on mid. They're grouped up these supports. Right now, Falcons is out farming them, right? They have an Enchantress who's farming up. 3 cores were in different parts of the map, all farming away. They've set up a long time for this exact situation. They wanted to be able to pay off. Tornado and EMP does land onto Maureen. Now Satanic's going to join in on the push as well with the Dragon form, trying to make sure that this tower does go down with the Siege Wagon push. And the glyph goes out. Miposhka, he doesn't want to give this up. They pop the glyph to defend against the tower. Keep the siege creep alive.
Oh, it's a bit of a mistake there from Amar. That Chakram should have been on the siege creep, not behind it. That's going to potentially cost them the tower, actually.
Maybe they get the deny. Yeah, they'll just take up the deny.
Nice play from Spirit, though. You can tell that Falcons really want to defend that mid tower because it's a key access point to Alk's jungle to take this down. So they really want to hold that tower, and I think they want to hold the top one. And sure, it gets denied, but if I'm Spirit, I'm still very happy with that situation, because this is what's going to unlock the game, is if they can take space away from Skeeter.
I feel like when you're playing active mids, Invoker's definitely one of those, and supports that want to move around and get kills, and that's definitely Tusk and Bane. Having the mid tower open is such a boon. It feels so really awkward valuable when you smoke to one side of the map and maybe you don't find anything and you want to be able to go and like invade triangle, move to the other side of the map, and there's just the enemy mid tier 1 tower sitting there.
Yeah, for sure. I would say it's biggest for Invoker. It just gives him so much freedom.
Yeah.
And it also unlocks a new Ghost Walk path that you don't usually have. So you can maybe, depending on where you are, if you're pushing out mid, you can start going in different directions that would otherwise be scouted. The Crit's going to get his level 6, so that's Finger of Death unlocked, and it goes without saying, of course, Snake King is going to be level 6 because he's just farming on the Ench. So they've now covered their bases against this Wisdom Rune steal in the sense that they have their abilities ready. They're going to try to make a move with this. This is a very powerful ganking squad, by the way. Malrine Blink, level 9 Timber, and the Finger of Death reveal. They can kill any hero they find, and it will be Rue.
Larl tries to help out. He just needs to be careful he doesn't die as well, because that is a very dead Rue. They got him on the Hex. Larl trying to stay ahead of Malrine here. Dawnbreaker ultimate is going to come in. They're going to turn around off of this one. Satanic is coming in as well, but they hit the epicenter. Malik's in a bit of trouble. Trying to get him with that Fist of Death. Crit backs away now. Maposhka with the full-out Fiend's Grip. Amar is trying to finish him off here. The last hit on Malrine, it actually misses. He's still alive somehow, and Amar does manage to get the kill before he goes down. Tornado doesn't go far enough. Malrine bailed out by Amar.
A rare miss from Amar there on the Timber Chain. Maybe he would have got out of that situation, but he missed the tree when he was trying to chain away from Bane. At the very least for him, he does trade with the Whirling Death, but ends up being a pretty even exchange all around. The good news for Falcons in this situation was that Skeeter was not involved, so and Satanic did come over here, so all of Spirit rotated to try to help out. But this Alchemist net worth is not exactly inspiring. Like you said, the shutdown from Spirit has been very good. This is the latest Radiance I think we've seen Skeeter get this tournament, maybe on Alchemist.
Yeah, here comes
14
Satanic.
minutes.
He says, nope, these camps are mine.
This is definitely on the slow side, only being 500 gold ahead of DK minute 14. Spirit should be very happy with this. Now it's obviously going to start ramping up significantly with this pickup. But when Skitter has a good game on Alk, he has faced Soul Ring Radiance minute 11. These 3 minutes are quite meaningful.
Man, it's just... We had that one... Who did? Oh, it was Crit, right? Crit went Vessel on Earth Spirit. This is another really good Vessel game. It goes to show that the inconsistency of the item, that there is no Vessel being built here. Right? We're going to get Blink Dagger on Tusk. Maposhka is going to go Arcane Boots. Larl's building Witchblade.
In the past, Invoker was just... be like, hell yeah, this is such a good Vessel game. Because you wanted to buy Urn anyway for your Quaswa X.
Yep.
I honestly, looking at this game and their lineup, I could have liked that. I don't know if Invoker is in a position as a hero now where this is literally the only way to play him, because I see, considering how the hero works, I see very little creativity on the pro scene right now. The Invoker just seems like literally every game Witchblade Dragonlance. This could have maybe been a game where you could have experimented with Vessel Midas. I think there's just that much upside to the Vessel, and I think what you need to consider on Invoker as well is if you do go the Vessel route, you understand that your hero will not stay on top all the time of the damage, but you have Dragon Knight Dawnbreaker, and you have Alacrity. So you are going to offer a ton to them, so maybe you don't need to be that huge damage dealer on right clicks, but can rather play a more spell-focused build. I'm actually very impressed with Crit getting a dagger here, by the way. That's kind of surprising. Oh, Rue wanted to get the rune.
Yeah, and he was getting close to his blink too.
Yeah.
Well, with the Enchantress, kind of guaranteed your mid tower is going to die at some point. And that's what's going to happen here. Team Spirit, got to be careful not to bleed off more kills. Maposhka is going to be found here. Here comes the Timbersaw. Nice tornado, but certainly not going to save Maposhka. Both supports getting picked off now in this mid push from Falcons.
And now this is starting to look a little bit better for them. By no means is this lead the standard 3K Falcons lead. It's a little bit later, and it is with Alk, so I still like Spirit's chances. But it is a bit concerning if this mid-Invoker, Tusk, and Dawnbreaker combination can only find 4 kills minute 17 and doesn't seem to be taking very much initiative. Would really love to see Spirit get out there and find some more fights. Let Satanic just be a farming monster. And then maybe this is a concern actually for their lineup now that we look at it in more detail. I tend to find that lineups where neither support has wave clear can get into these awkward spots of there's just too much pressure that you need to deal with passively on the map.
Yep.
That's one of the major downfalls of Bane, is that the hero doesn't wave clear for shit until it gets shard.
Yep.
And then you have to buy shard, which also feels bad because your hero is so good with Lens Glimmer or Ags that that you don't really want to have to purchase it. So that's awkward. Tusk's wave clear is like okay-ish, but you're generally maxing tag team, and then you need a lot of levels before your wave clear is good, and you kind of want to be off map to be a threat.
They want to go for Satanic here, see if they can blow him up.
Oh,
He does have a lot. The Dawnbreaker ultimate isn't going to be enough. There is too much damage, and now they're going to catch the Dawnbreaker off of the Hex. Chase after him. Now there's rotations coming in from Spirit, and they're going to go for a punish. But Poshka, he does have Fiend's Grip. Crit's trying to light it up. Malrine is there instantly with the Blink Burrow. BKB activated by Malik is trying to get the slam onto Skeeter, but they just don't do enough damage, while Falcons are overwhelming them with their damage. They're even chasing down Malik. He used a full BKB charge for this, and he's not going to get away. A Trockham to slow him down. A two-man Burrow strike, and they take down 4 of Spirit. They're going to find the 5th too. It was all going so fine in the first 10-15 minutes for Spirit, and yet one team fight is all it takes. You slip up against Falcons, and they will punish you to the utmost degree.
That's just a game-winning moment. They just team-wiped them at no cost, and they started out killing Satanic, and then Spirit choose to take the fight afterwards. There's no chance in hell they were going to win that, and I have to say I'm pretty surprised that Spirit willingly walked into that, considering they lost Satanic with how their team usually works. They're going to be forced to fight again. If he dies again now, Cap, this
I think he just might. He's surrounded by too many heroes.
Uh-oh.
Yikes, and yeah, the Falcons know Satanic. That first death was a smoke ink and such. He used Finger of Death, blew him up. That second death, though, that was on Satanic.
Yeah. And I wonder, again, this can be a little bit difficult to appreciate when you're just spectating it like this and maybe not paying close attention to it. I wonder how much of Falcon's success in this game is just straight up wave push. The fact that Enchantress is going to passively be pushing out waves. All of your 3 cores push the waves really fast, whereas on the other side, Invoker needs time to do it, and then your 2 supports offer extremely poor wave clear.
Yeah.
So it puts a lot of pressure on the Dawn to push out waves, and if Dragon Knight wants to play jungle, you have, in reality, you have like 1 hero that wave clears.
Rue, okay. They didn't expect that move. Oh my god. All right.
The next level play.
5 seconds. Oh, didn't get the shard right there. Looks like he was probably going to die anyway. Blink Dagger was on a bit too long a cooldown.
And now this game has just soured very quickly for Spirit. I like their chances if they were able to take initiative, but if their heroes are stuck pushing waves and not getting out on the map, Bane has no purpose, the Quaswex Invoker has no purpose, and you can farm up this Dragon Knight as much as you want. He is not going to just flat out by himself win these core-to-core matchups if there's no pressure on the enemy team. The Timbersaw is going to overwhelm you eventually, and the Alchemist has an, I want to say, all-right matchup, 1v1. So it's big items now for Falcons. They'll get the Aegis on Skitter. Amar in that previous team fight, by the way, don't know if you noticed, but when his reactive armor exploded, he did a ton of damage.
Yeah,
You have Tornado against it, but he bought it anyway.
I was going to ask you what you thought about that. He's got an Alk on his team, and he's matched up against Tornado and Easy Dispel. That seems... And I would say even like things like Bane, just nightmaring you and people walking away is not the best for him either. So...
I think it's maybe one of those situations where you can look at the classic glass half full, glass half empty kind of thing. It's like, yeah, they have counters, but at the same time, how often? Oh, wait with that.
Dawnbreaker ultimate are going to quickly kill the Lion. The Invoker, though, is having trouble. The snowball comes through, gives him a little bit of distance, but the Burrow Strike is on point. Malrine gets that one. Malik is just hoping that an Invis will save his life. Oh, of course. Snaking's got the dust. He came into these team fights prepared.
Yeah. You get 1 support, and it's going to cost you 3 heroes, of which 2 are cores. That is just not the trade you're looking for. And Falcons, are they going to dive this on Satanic?
Satanic.
They are thinking about it at the very least.
He does have his BKB. They'll get that charge out of him here. The Glyph's going to be activated for the multi-shots here, trying to get these low heroes and finish them off, but it's not good enough. Dragonform BKB now on cooldown.
Yeah. Ench with the heal plus the Bloodstone and Sandking, they're not going to be able to kill them. So yeah, just the thing about the Tornado, because this is something that I've thought about as well before, is if you're buying eggs against Invoker on Timber, Invoker has two choices. Either he holds his Tornado waiting for you to use that armor, or he uses it like quote-unquote normal. And if you're forcing his hand and he has to play reactively to you, that's already a win in itself. Like, it's very important for the Invoker to be able to use his spells freely and see the moment of opportunity. What Amar's going to do is he'll just play the fight like he wants, and then the moment Invoker uses Tornado on literally anything, he can pop the reactive armor. So, whatever way you spin it or look at it, you are the one dictating what happens when you have the Ags. So it's kind of interesting in that sense. And it's good against literally everyone else. It's insane against all other 4 heroes. So
for a lineup of Spirit that already has damage issues,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Very problematic. Where Falcons, they certainly do not have that problem.
Why do you think Malrine took Dust Devil this game? We've been almost exclusively seeing Sandshroud, and I'm trying to figure out what he saw in this.
Might be the matchup-wise, where the Invoker forces you to try and get out of the EMP.
Yo, I would think that Sandshroud would be nice against Invoker in lane, so you can just put down that Sandstorm and get the CS, and if he tries to Cold Snap you, you can just hide. If he tries to Tornado EMP you, Sandshroud is big enough that you can stand on the edge and not get hit, maybe? I don't know. It's interesting, because I've been a big proponent that Dust Devil is just, on average, the better facet, but that has not been the case this tournament. It's been almost exclusively Sandshroud chosen, so this one stood out a little bit for that reason.
Yeah, it might be just a difference of people just realizing that maybe the Sandshroud isn't as good as we thought.
Oh, if Amar would walk into this, he would get so much info, but
instead, they go to the other side of the map. There's not much Team Spirit's going to find there besides neutrals and maybe a kill on Snaking. Who is going to be getting a pipe once again. Moposhka has scouted out Snaking, and he's going to catch him here. And he TPs from Falcons. Looks like they're giving up on Snaking. He does manage to get off his heel, which will take this
nope,
a little
they're
bit longer.
helping him.
Okay. Oh boy, this is bad. Burrow Strike on 4, already set up. They miss their spells on Snaking, and now Skeeter's gonna go in. Malrine pops his amp damage, and he's ready to fight. Team Spirit fully abandoned this situation. That was
I wonder
terrible.
how many games we're gonna see this Snaking Ench get in this situation and have this outcome. I don't know, whenever I see the enemy team go on Snake, I just get this feeling in my stomach that this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's just every game that he has this hero, teams are either wasting a ton of resources killing him once or twice, and worst case scenario is something like that, where you spend all the resources and the team you're facing rotates and you actually lose. Ganking a support, that's just so bad for the game to spend all that time with so little gain. In that case, nothing, as a matter of fact. Yeah. They're winning with that hero for a reason. They have a very good understanding of when to help it, what to do, how to pressure the map. Unless Spirit dig deep and find some sort of solution, Snaking might just end up winning 20 Enchantress games in a row.
That's pretty bonkers.
It is crazy. I wonder what his overall win rate is on the hero, because that's another stat that could be interesting to hear. I believe the best of all time player-hero combination win rate is Ake's Chen, depending on what metric you're looking at. There's obviously going to be players that have a higher win rate, but you start getting confidence issues with how many games have been played. I think Ake's Chen had like a 75% win rate over 200 games or something like this. It was obscene.
Yeah. Caught Laurel. Crit sets it up. The Burrow Strike does miss. And somehow that force staff put him behind the dude. That was a crazy position to end up.
Oh, when you force staff out diagonally off the map, you can land up in those little weird corners behind trees. We'll escape that.
Snaking's Enchantress, 62% win rate. 100 games. He's Mirana, which teams are lucky that's not meta right now. 70% win rate.
That's very
And that's
high.
his most played
How many
hero
games?
at 145.
Okay, that's super impressive.
Yeah.
I think some of those games might also be Core from back when he played Core.
Yeah.
These are not exclusively support games. Ake was obviously literally only 5 Chen games. I wonder how. Can you see how many games he had on Chen? Were you looking at it?
I get curious. Jump forward, blink, doesn't immediately find Mark, but Satanic's in pretty deep here. He does have his BKB, but the damage! They got one disable on him, and then he's just dead, and the Dawnbreaker, same situation as many times before. The ult comes in, it doesn't save the hero, he's instantly disabled and killed.
Spirit don't know what to do. It's actually pretty clear. They don't have a plan.
No.
These heroes are running in, they find the Ench again, they cast a stun and a Sunstrike on her, and they're like, what are we doing? And then they just die, and now they lose the game. It's not a good look when you're off to a decent start and then you find one more kill until you get raxed. This game was 5-4 for Falcons, I want to say at minute 12. So Spirit have accomplished absolutely nothing in the mid-game.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Team Spirit, they had a plan. First 10, 15 minutes, the plan was going well. They lost one team fight, and now everything is totally fallen apart for them. They are struggling to find a way back into the game, and it's going to become harder and harder with the BKB in next for Amar. So there goes your Dispel against the Aghanim Scepter. He's untouchable. Lotus Orb, BKB, Aghanim Scepter, if he gets off any of those, can't do anything about him. Skeeter is reaching that point where he's like soft 6-slotted. He can get the Abyssal Blade next. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, and then he starts building up Aghanim Scepters. We'll see what he opts for here.
All right, I've found some stats now
Okay.
for the win rates, just so it's interesting, because some of these are actually relevant right now.
Yep.
So Amar has 65 games on Doom with a 78.5% win rate, which is actually ridiculous. Then in the top 5, Arteezy is there twice. He has Lycan, 76.5, and Shadow Fiend, 75.2.
TZSF, that was a monster back in the day.
Pushka will get ganked here by Amar. The third place is Nisha's Morphling. He does not play that very much right now, obviously on Liquid, but that was iconic as well. He was insane on Morph. Ake has 73% win rate on Chen with 216 games.
That's a lot of games.
That one to me is the most incredible. And then you have No Tail IO, 72.5 with 164 games.
Yeah, Ake and No Tail are the ones that really stand out just for the number of games that they have played in this list.
There's a lot of really impressive stats here. Looks like Arteezy is in the top 24 times. 5 times, right? 4 times.
It's pretty impressive hero diversity, too. Like, the whole list is just full of various roles and heroes within those roles.
Yep.
Satanic and Team Spirit holding out here. Since being able to get the Roshan, they have a much better opportunity to be able to stall the game. But will it actually help them turn the game?
It's a really impressive sneak, no matter how you look at it. Like, when you're this far down and totally dominated on the map, you being able to find Roche like that is good news. But again, like you said, is this going to change anything? Are you just delaying the inevitable, or can you actually get something out of this? Having the Aegis on Dragon Knight is a little bit awkward, because for him to have true teamfight impact, it feels like he has to pop Dragon Form. And, well, if you lose that first life, how valuable is the second one going to be against this Radiant lineup?
They do have, if they manage to draw it out, they do have a pretty broken high ground combination in that kickback into Fiend's Grip.
Yeah.
That sounds incredible. Problem is that even if he gets the Aghanim Scepter, they already have in some ways the counter, which is crit with an instant disable, right?
Yep.
And we've seen that before. We've seen the Tusk. They really fixate on trying to get that kickback. The enemy knows that's coming, and they just set up traps for you, ready to go with the Hex.
Yep. And maybe even imagining the Axe right now for Tusk is a bit of a pipe dream.
Yep. He is working on it. He is halfway there, but getting that last 1,700 gold is going to be quite the Herculean task, considering the fact he can't really exit the base.
But it is what you have to play for at this point. It's,
There's the Abyssal Blade, another BKB, this one for the Sand King. Another BKB, I guess, for the Invoker, so they're gonna smoke out. They are not going to sit back and let their Aegis expire within their base. They're at least going to hit some Ancients.
nice.
Got them. They just set up around Satanic to hit those Ancients.
Yeah, they're not interested in taking an aggressive stance here, it looks like. They're just trying to get some sort of control back. So while we have a bit of downtime, now that I'm looking at these stats, this is actually kind of interesting to see. There is, I'm curious if you can guess this, there's a hero in all-time player-hero combinations. So most games played on a hero by an individual player.
Okay.
There's a hero that's present 4 times in the top 6. Which one do you think that is? So most games played by a player, one hero is 4 out of the top 6.
Is it a hero that plays multiple roles?
Arguably, but most of the time just one. Let's say most of the time it plays 2, but it can play more than 2. But it cannot play all.
I was thinking Tiny because Tiny very often shows up at TI.
That's a good guess. He is not there a single time in top 6. He's not even in the top 20, I think.
Earthshaker was another one that was very frequent at TIs, but
also not there.
I think the problem is I'm thinking of TIs and not just general games.
This hero also got picked a lot at TI.
Could be one of the spirit heroes.
If you think about what players have become famous for, maybe that's going to help you a bit. If you think about
Rubik.
Yes.
Yeah, Rubik.
So
Rubik was so popular for so long.
In the top 6, there's the most played player-hero combinations. Number 1 is FY Rubik. Yep. Number 3 is Yapzor Rubik. Number 4 is Kaka Rubik. And number 6 is Kuroki Rubik. And then the other 2 heroes are Puppy Chen in second, most games played ever. And number 5 is Admiral Bulldog, Nature's Prophet. Which is crazy when you consider how relatively short his career was compared to these other players. Because everyone else in this top 6 played for many, many years. And Bulldog, in reality, with Pro Dota, he mainly played from TI3 to TI6.
Yeah.
So he played, like, let's say, give or take 3 to 4 years. And these other players in this list have played for, like, 8+.
Yeah. At TI3, do you remember
I guess Yapzor is also a bit of a deviant there.
Do you remember how many denies you had at the start? I think it was just 2.
How many bans?
Yeah, how many bans at the starting draft?
At TI3?
I think it was just 2.
I think maybe, yeah.
Because it was
drafting was very different back then.
It was basically Bulldog had 3 heroes that he was exceptionally good with, and you couldn't ban them all out.
Right. Satanic will be forced to BKB here, you would imagine. He's really holding off, but eventually concedes. And now, well, Tornado's been used, so now Mark can immediately proc the armor.
Yeah, and he still has his BKB too.
He's not.
Doesn't have any hero damage though. Literally does 0 damage within that enfeeble.
It still is just... You've got this feeling that we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then in any number of minutes between now and 5 to 10, Spirit just get in trouble and lose the rest of the base. Yeah. It just takes one misstep. They just need to get a little bit out of position. This ward... Rue will find it, and actually a nice snipe into escape there. Falcons were not nearby, but okay, they're going to press the issue. Knowing that Dragon Knight has no BKB is enough for them to look at high ground. With the Aegis expiring as well, that seems reasonable.
Where's my enfeeble breathe fire combination?
Yeah.
Take away 100% of his attack damage.
He's going to get loaded.
Oh, there's a Lotus. Oh, there goes that.
At least mana burn, but... Skitter doesn't seem all that phased by it. Another enfeeble.
So Spirit looks like they're going to play for 2. Rue does manage to... I'm surprised Rue came back. I thought he was going to stay out there. Just stay on the enemy side of the map and farm, because he's just 800 away from getting that Aghanim Scepter. Meanwhile, there are going to be some heroes getting some free Aghanim Scepter from the Alchemist.
I think that's a good point. I think Tusk should definitely just flat out be farming right now.
All right, so Mar got his refund. 6,300 gold is what he's got in the bank. He can
buy now Hex.
Looks like he wants overwhelming blink was his first reaction. See if he actually pulls the trigger on it or not.
Yeah, that's the thing about Hex is it doesn't carry. And Amar wants to carry.
Me do damage.
So here's a little secret about Amar. He doesn't know you can cast Lotus Orb on allies. He buys Lotus Orb if it's a good Lotus game for him. Okay?
And he likes Lotus over Linken's because Lotus can do damage to the enemy.
Yes. He wants Lotus as well because then he can catch Bane, so he can do damage to Bane.
True. All right, we're gonna see if
Okay.
Amar also has this combination now where he can activate his Ags early and then overwhelming blink in with the Havoc Hammer as well. He actually has some pretty crazy AoE
this
damage.
Is a nutty combo. With the BKB, you're fully protecting your armor. So you're not worried about being tornadoed if you want to make that exact play.
Yep.
Just go for it.
Crit baiting up there. Takes it right in front of his face.
Oh, this is spicy now.
They're getting lots of stuns. Dawnbreaker Ultimate comes in. Got an Abyssal Blade on a Satanic, but he managed to get off his BKB. They're going to turn and look at Malrine. Malrine activates his BKB. The physical damage is just not enough. Satanic cannot do enough. And Malik, he tries to get away. Crit just blinks in front of him, gives him the finger. And Maposhka will join the other two in the fountain. All right.
And I mean, this has got to be game, right? This was the one time. Now, Spirit go out of base. They get into that awkward situation we were talking about. Dragon Knight, no buyback. It's cool if you have the Tusk Ags now, but...
He doesn't. Don't worry.
Oh, Laurel!
That's one way to do it.
Run, Laurel, run.
Escape for now. Mars in.
There's that
And
damage. Overwhelming blink.
That's a dieback.
Whirling Death, Havoc Hammer. Boom, boom, boom.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
He's going to go S and Y.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Or excuse me, Kaya Yasha. He's going to be even
Buyback.
faster at getting off these combos.
Falcons aren't scared here. Until Dragon Knight buys back, they don't care.
No. There's the kickback onto Crit. They managed to slam him nice and quick. 3-man unstable concoction, but Falcons, they see the buyback from the Dragon Knight, as you said. Not scared until that comes out. And even then, I feel like they probably could win the fight, but no need to risk it.
Yeah.
As Roshan, spawn time has started. If they were to try and challenge Spirit, they lose that fight, then they give them the next Roshan, then you just delayed the game by a massive amount.
Yeah. Just wait for the lion respawn and then take your pick. This is going to be a Radiant side Rosh as well, so even inherently favoring Falcons with the potential buyback into TP. Sand King will buy his own Ags. Might get it refunded later if this game, by some miracle, goes beyond 45 minutes. But it's really hard to see it. The man on your screen right now has to do everything. They need kicks. It's not possible unless Rue gets heroes completely out of position. Spirit will go for a Hail Mary. Falcons seem very aware that this is coming.
Yep,
They
are
have
all
info
sitting
because
around
the
high
mid
ground
wave is
ward.
not
It
being
breaks
pushed
on them.
down.
Amar gets to the back line already. There goes the Bane. Rue, he's rolling onto the Enchantress. That's not what they want. There's no position to get a quick kick here, while Laurel is going to die despite the BKB activation. Rue tries to make a break for it after the snowball, tries to blink back and away from Falcons, but they have plenty of chase. Sand King Timbersaw, you're not outrunning that.
Crit. It's gonna find Malik.
Are they going to kill him with just 2 supports?
That can force his BKB.
Certainly.
Or that. Alright.
Did not manage to take away his entire mana pool in time. All right, finish up Roche. That's going to be a refresher for whoever.
Dude, on Mars. He did, in fairness, he did get 4,200 gold from Skeeter. Or it counts as 6.2, right? Or 6 flat, I think. Giving someone an axe is...
I assume it does count as the 6, yeah.
Because you pay 4.2, but they get 6k net worth, I would think, because it's a synth. Maybe?
Yeah,
I actually don't know this for
I
sure.
don't know for sure how it works, but I assume
That would make
counts as a
sense.
synth.
That would be how it works.
Radiant are
Malrine
standing.
getting the data list. You talked about this build earlier in the tournament. The late night. Let's try that again. The late game Sand King. A late night Sand King does sound kind of cool too, though. Late game Sand King with Daedalus, level 25 talent, and Ags.
Dire's turret
The late night
has
show
been
with
killed.
Pyrian Flax and Sand King. Shout out to Ted.
Nice, we got it in there.
Oh my god.
Okay, come on. All right, I
this
need.
is gonna be sick.
You were selling me on this build. I need to see this. I need to see Malrine just get in
Please.
there. So
Falcons just let Malrine handle them.
So the idea is that with the Ags working in the new way with Stinger, you amp up your damage with the Daedalus, and then you jump in with Epion, and you obliterate people in the
His
radius.
smoke breaks. Mars gonna draw some attention
Here it
here.
is.
And here it comes. Amp damage goes out. He starts blinking forward. Okay, the Burrow Strike,
Wow,
that
that-
doesn't do too much. He still has a refresher, though. He's got a second chance. He could do this again, and he even still has cheese. Chases after Satanic. Oh no, he's gonna die. No!
That's poetic.
Oh, come on, man.
It was so unimpactful.
It was so
Oh,
bad.
I really wanted to see it. I wanted to see him pop off in a fight, but he blinked into a BKB hero. He dies, but Falcons do get the win, and this, for all in...
Game 2 between Spirit and Falcons, and our panel, Synderen, says Spirit have a better chance this go around. You agree?
I agree. I cannot say in good faith that I favor them, but I do think they have what I would consider one of the best archetype approaches against Falcons in this game, which is if you can somehow get the ball rolling early and break the map, Falcons can sometimes... the only times I see them look lost is if the first 15 minutes don't go well. Any other situation, if it comes to ultra late game or later portions of the mid game or even just a stale game where not much happens, they generally seems to know what's coming next. But a lineup like something with a mid prophet and a Beastmaster can very quickly start breaking down the map and take the initiative of the overall flow of the game. So I would really love to see that from Spirit here, is play aggressive. Now, that was my main criticism about them last game, was that they didn't do much after the lanes.
Yeah.
Compared to maybe what they could have, and that's always... It's a matter of both teams. That's not just Spirit are being passive and not trying. It's also Falcons did a good job with not getting caught. But it was just... Last game, it felt like it was a necessity. This time, I also think it is, but I think it's a lot easier to meet the conditions. This time, you have way better wave clear. You have the Hoodwink instead of the Tusk played here by Rue, and then the Tusk has been put onto Miposhka. But all their heroes have good wave clear in this game with the exception of Tusk, so you would imagine that you get more chances.
So the early rune fights did look pretty good for Spirit. They did some good damage to the Dragonite as well as the Viper, but we can see that part of the reason it was a 2-2 split was that, well, Crit was already set up just to do some good old-fashioned Earthshaker Fisher blocking, and so the first wave is going to push into the Viper, which makes it that they can't actually punish the Viper for being low on regen or being low HP.
Yeah, Crit went down and blocked the enemy wave rather than fissuring his own wave.
Yeah.
Both versions are viable. Fissuring your own wave is 100% safe because you can never get counterplayed while doing that. But obviously it costs mana, and you're also not present on bounty runes if you make that choice. So this way around, you can get the best of both worlds, I suppose.
Yep. And sometimes if you do the blocking, sometimes the creep equilibrium just stalls, right? Where it's farther back, but it kind of stalls there. Blocking it, the enemy creep wave, well, it forces under a tower, and then you get a double wave that's kind of pushing forward. Kind of guarantees you get back to your tower. Plus, Shadow Fiend doesn't have the best starting damage, so very possible that he misses some CS under tower.
Been the case, though,
No.
so far. Satanic had a clean first wave. He got 4-1 on the first one. And then things only get easier with the points in Necromastery. So, off to a good start here on both him as well as Malik. Very impressed with Malik's first waves here as well, being 14-1 against the Chen DK.
Yeah, I feel like a duo that hasn't really fallen off too much, is not as strong as they were, you know, just 6 months ago, but the Hoodwink Beastmaster,
Yeah.
still one of the better off-lane duos you can get your hands on.
There's just so much constant pressure. That's why the lane is so strong. Whether you go the Boar build or the Axe build, Hoodwink can use the tree bounce trick shot to just put pressure to enemy heroes when they're standing in the trees. You send axes on them, and then you just keep doing it until they can't do it anymore. But of course, Chen's a bit of a wild card in this equation because he has mana burn.
Yep.
And that will make life harder over time for the spam lane. And immediately takes over the board. Satanic. Uh-oh.
Locked, and Amar will find the first blood. So the safe lane already breaking down a little bit. Look at the mid lane, where I think this is probably the lane that is most important for both sides. How the Nature's Prophet and Monkey King do maybe in the lane isn't quite as important, but what they do outside of lane, right? The early rotations we're going to be seeing from both of these guys and how successful they are with those. Mapochka blocked off. He's going to die as well. Now they've staggered their deaths, so leaving each other isolated for a period of time. This does not feel good for Spirit.
Definitely not. Satanic can't do anything about this being pulled. This is such a big loss for him. I guess the good news is it's just one big centaur that's about to die, and he'll steal. Okay, actually, he can do something about it. That was pretty much perfect. He stole the CS and got the wave back.
And he's going to try and pull the whole thing back. Crit's going to be able to drag it to the easy camp. But even still, I think Satanic's in a good position. He's going to kill the easy camp and then be able to farm behind his tower, which probably feels a lot better.
Yeah, he's very safe here. But only for a short while before this will inevitably push the other way. And Amar, well, he has got the wave in just the spot. Gonna hold it here as long as he can.
Challenges the SF a little bit, really wants to keep it out of the tower range. And just that little bit of pressure forced Satanic back, so he will mostly be able to. Looks like it's still got it in tower range. He's going to try and drag it back using the aggro trick there. But see, all the little things. That's why Amar is so good at laning and why he so often wins his lane. It's all the little things that he does.
That's what's fascinating about really any sport or any game at the highest level is... I don't know if I've had this conversation with you before. I just find it fascinating that there can be something that, let's say, 1 million people in the world do. And then, obviously, people will be placed into skill brackets, just as is the case with Dota MMR. But how can 1 million people do something, and then there's just 10 people that are just better?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to think that that's the case for so many things in the world, where you could say that the players are using comparable amounts of time, they're comparably amount of dedicated, they're all very talented, but there's just certain aspects of the game or certain whatever it is that some players are just better. And with that big of a sample size, you would think the difference between 1st and 10th would be really small. But in some aspects of the game, it just isn't. And that's kind of fascinating to behold.
Radiant structures are fortified.
We haven't seen any rotations just yet from Laurel or Malrine. We do have the Wrath of Nature ready to go, so something to worry about for the Falcons side lanes. Rue, not going to be able to pick up the bounty rune, runs into crit. It is going to be tri-lane on tri-lane now. Or maybe not. Crit's actually going to TP up to the outpost and make a break for the Wisdom Rune.
Oh, this is... I mean, Shaker is, in theory, really good at this, because you can block off the entire slope if you're there very early.
Yeah.
He's not going to be there that early, but I think the Hoodwink might be too late. This is going to be kind of close.
Oh,
if he just fissures it now... Oh, he doesn't fissure, though. Now he'll see him.
He's going to get it.
He's going to get it by walking in and taking it.
Mapochka and Rue, the Wrath of Nature is going to go off. They will be able to get the kill in return, but the damage is already done. They have lost their Wisdom Rune.
That is well worth it for crit. What a play call to make to decide to TP for that at 6:35.
Yeah.
Just be like, I'm going to walk there and I'm going to get this. Because the way he did it, too, wasn't reliable. Like, the Hoodwink could have been in the trees and just done Acorn Shot and a Bushwhack and just taken it in front of him. But he's just playing on the off chance that Spirit aren't fully ready and in position on the dot, and he was right.
Doing it against the Nature's Prophet as well is particularly bold.
I think he was expecting to die. I don't think he went there and thought he was going to get out scot-free, but trading his life for that rune is worth it. Completely worth it.
Well, they have already taken over the enemy safe lane here on Falcons. They are pushing it down with the Chen. The Viper is too much of a laning presence, and the Chen is too good at pushing, so this combination will lead to a fast safe lane tower take. Maureen has begun to move around just a tiny bit here. Amp damage. Toying with Maposhka right now.
Can you see that the tree has amp damage? No, you can't, but you can see when it has haste. That's kind of funny. Satanic will hide away for the time being, but...
They're going to try and sneak up on him. But Satanic is wise to what's happening here.
He's aware, but he's losing efficiency, and Shadow Fiend does not like playing from behind, so they really need to make sure that Satanic can keep getting to work. This gap between Amar and him is already up to 1,000. And it'll be an interesting matchup to see later down the line, because the thing about Viper against SF is, historically speaking, when these heroes lane against each other, Shadow Fiend was actually quite good against Viper because you had all the magic damage, and when these heroes were played mid, SF was one of the few heroes that could fight Viper early on before it became overwhelming.
Yeah.
But this way of playing Shadow Fiend is full right-click. You get Viper struck?
Wrath of Nature gets used, catches Maureen. He's not able to jump away into the trees, and now he might be done for.
Good
He
raise.
can't get the Jingu stacks. Maposhka is going to be blocked off. It's going to be a one-for-one trade-off, but the win for Spirit as they killed a core.
Well worth it, for sure. But yeah, what do you think you do as SF when you get Viper struck in this patch? Like, if your build is always centered around having high attack speed and physical damage, then this is a kind of uncomfortable position to be put in.
Yeah.
Curious. Oh, Amar
He does have TP.
showing off his early force staff. It's good.
He's gonna make it.
Close call. He even bought a Fairy Fire, but didn't need it.
Feed the trees.
Radiant's middle
All right, well,
is under
maybe
attack.
the answer is get other people to tank the Viper Strike for you.
That'll work.
The problem being Falcons. Instead of the Enchantress, they have the Chen. Snake King knows the order of operations very well. The Enchantress might be farm heavy, but the Chen wants to take these early towers, and they are doing that quite well. Team Spirit do not have the heroes to be able to stop this, and understandably, like, they've got really nice single target pickoff, like Roar into Laurel TPing in and stuff. Like, there's good threat for any heroes that are caught in side lane areas, but if Falcons just move 3 or 4 heroes early on, I don't think they could do much about it.
Now, the challenge for Spirit is to put enough pressure on the lanes that Falcons split up into suboptimal pairs, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Where Beastmaster puts so much pressure top that you start defending with the wrong hero, or then you bring the Prophet and overwhelm. But again, similar to game number 1, despite Spirit having these aggressive heroes, they're not finding too much pressure on the map. Laurel is in the into jungling mode a little bit. Of course, this time around, you didn't get the bounty runes, or excuse me, wisdom runes. So you had to recover your supports a little bit. But Hoodwink is level 6, so you'd think that Spirit could try to take a more aggressive position on the map and really bring it to Falcons. But if they don't, you know what Falcons are going to do. They're just going to play the map with their Chen. They're going to out-farm you. And eventually they will be the ones to be making the big moves. So
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm not a fan of the mid-profit if you don't... Like, this is the part of the game that I love mid-profit as a concept.
Yeah.
But it only works if you are really pressuring. And maybe they just can't.
And Malik will have his Ancient stack stolen. I think they're waiting for that Aghanim Scepter to start being more aggressive and making more teamfight-oriented moves into Falcons, but that has been slowed down so much.
Yep. Just textbook stuff here from Falcons. Getting the mid tower, invading the triangle, using the cleave from the Dragon Knight, and then also escaping with 0 casualties.
Skater also doing his patented Blink Dagger first build on Dragon Knight that, I don't remember who said it, but it was the Blink first on Dragon Knight? Yeah, don't only do that if you're Skeeter. Seems to be the only guy who really makes the safe lane carry early Blink Dagger heroes shine the most. Oposhka slowed down. He's trying to get a snowball over the cliff area. Nicely played. He's still stuck though, and will be killed.
I think that's an interesting point to bring up about why his Dragon Knight goes dagger and the others don't. And I think the main difference between Falcons as a team and the other ones is the way in which they play the map with the other cores, as well as snaking. So when Dragon Knight buys dagger, he wants to take more initiative and play aggressive and look for kills. And the #1 condition you need to meet to gank is to push waves.
Yep.
And if your teammates inherently are greedy players that always push out waves and maximize farm, and then you have a Chen support or an Ench and their wave pushing as well, all of a sudden your Dragon Knight dagger is going to pay off because it will find picks. Where for other teams, when their supports are not pushing waves as much and they're playing more defensively, the Dragon Knight will generally buy a carry-heavy build because the dagger doesn't pay off into anything. Right. So this is a combination of Skitter being very good at playing Dragon Knight this way, but what enables it to make sense is that they as a team have a shared understanding of what Dragon Knight's role in this game is, so they can set him up for success as well and make this item useful. So it's pretty cool to see how this has been a very meta pick this whole tournament, but for most teams, dagger first DK has either not worked or been hit or miss. For Skitter, it hits every single time, and that's just a very good indication of what Falcons do better than other teams.
Yeah, 100% agree. I'll add a cherry on top too is Falcons winning lanes oftentimes means they have better control of the gates.
Yep.
In which case, you know, that movement back and forth enables, you know, aggressive moves like Blink Dagger builds.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All
right, finally Spirit will try to go to work here with the Axe Beast. This move needs to do something. It needs to work. They'll find Snay. It's not the best.
They're going to roar him up. Maureen and Crit will watch on the sidelines as their 5 dies.
Oh, but this is going to be a trade.
Amar, this is not good for Amar.
He has Pike.
Raises out. Okay. He does have a lot of regen. My goodness. Meanwhile, they did go for the fight in top lane. They're going to catch Laurel. So Amar doesn't die, forces a reaction. They kill the mid laner at top. That was the Aghanim's reveal. The roar used, and all they did was trade their mid laner for a 5.
Yeah, that doesn't feel great. Pushka's gonna see Amar now, though.
Still trying for it, but he got the pike away before he could get caught by the bushwhack.
Crit joining him here for some backup. With the blink, no echo now. That was used in the top play. But even just a blink enchant and a fissure could make this play really
hard
complicated.
For this kill. They really want it. They're going to throw out the hoodwink damage, and it misses. Even if it landed, it wouldn't done enough. Laurel, he goes for a TP out. Okay, he's good. Everybody else going to make it?
Nope.
Not. Skeeter's going to make sure they get something out of this one. The Blink Dagger Dragon Knight hits its mark once again, and Maureen put in the coup de grace. Finish him off.
This map is terrifying for the side of Spirit if they are not the ones making the first.
Okay, Amar just went through the gate, running into 3 heroes. Instant roar up. They are following this gate play, though. Malik has already used most of his kit, as has Laurel. So he is kind of stuck, though, and the drums are only going to be able to do so much.
At the very least, they got Amar. It's a big kill. It's more trade not particularly favorable, if at all.
Yeah, they got 2 for 1, and it turns out Malik, by getting that kill, ended up getting into a killing streak. Nice little bonus.
And also, as a part of this play, Falcons get in position for Roche.
Ooh.
See the replay here.
Having an Aghanim Scepter and on Beastmaster not being able to do the Roche.
Yeah. Does not feel great. The Radiant lineup would love to do this in general. Gives purpose to Tusk. Carry SF likes to do it.
It's funny, Falcon's lineup is really bad at it too. It's like pretty damn slow, but you win the fight right outside the Roshan pit. It's an opportunity you cannot ignore.
Yep. And if nothing else, you've at least got Penitence. That does help.
True.
But absolutely, without a doubt, the Radiant lineup much better at killing Rosh.
Dire's bottom tower.
Doesn't matter though, Falcons will claim it, and they will claim this top tier 1. They just need to hit it twice with their DK, and they can just back off. See if they settle for this, because they are all here grouped up. So this would be a natural time for Monkey King to try to find an angle.
Still have Dragon Form for a bit. Their Blink Dagger hero has an Aegis.
They'll just split out on the map though. Play the efficiency game. They feel like Spirit are going to play defensive here and not be caught, and they'd be right in that assessment. Spirit are nowhere near where that top tower was, so they will push out the waves instead and maximize their farm in classic Falcons fashion. Progressing the game. Man, this difference between supports is actually wild. It's the whole net worth lead.
Yeah.
They're 2k ahead on both of them against the enemy supports minute 19. Nice ward place from Crit. He's anticipating that the Shadow Fiend will come down here and farm once more, or the Prophet will, since they need to split the map and take the sides to find a comeback. That's where you spring the trap.
Bounty.
So if they have vision on the side lanes, and they're occupying the mid lane with like 2 or 3 heroes, it naturally forces Spirit to go out into the corners of the map.
Exactly.
And now
So
they're
that's where you want your vision. And look at the dire vision. I mean,
into that ward.
it's all on the sides.
Satanic, he's gonna see the ward, and he's gonna be like, oh, there's a ward here. Oh, wait, he's Invis. He's got
Shadow Blade. Sentry.
Drop a sentry. Oh, caught him just on the edge. Now the dust comes out and he's dead. Ooh, man, that was right there on the edge too.
Clutch play from Crit.
They've got such good catch too.
Yep.
Blink Dragon Knight, a Monkey King with Gleipnir, and an Earthshaker.
Just, again, textbook stuff. They make the smoke play around the time that the Tormentor can spawn, or will spawn. They find the one pick that they need to unlock this for free, and they steal it, and now they go back to their own one. So this gank was worth 3,500 gold, probably? Because a Tormentor steal is 2,800, and then you also kill the SF.
Yep.
So this is massive for Falcons.
They got to get something out of this one, Malik. They finish off Crit, do manage to get that kill. If they could get Skeeter as well, this would be really good. Falcons split up a bit too much. Get caught in the act here in the top lane. Are they going to be able to bail out Skeeter here? Do they have any AoE damage? Okay, they got the shards. That hits him. The Requiem goes out, and they will manage to kill him twice. Laurel walks away with the double kill. Recipient of a healthy amount of gold, and he needs it too.
That was a good punish. Skitter wanted to also TP out, but he got interrupted, and yeah, just as I say, this was going to look great for Falcons with getting both Tormentors and then maintaining control. Spirit make a very successful move there. Take away the Aegis, kill him twice, and also take the Shaker to boot. And it will slow down. Chen was already set up here and ready to get this done, but doesn't really have the right teammates for it right now. Maybe he can do it with Viper. I don't really know if that's appealing at all to Mar.
No.
So
Sounds too inefficient.
now something to keep in mind for the side of Falcons as well is how good these shards are.
Okay.
So killing Tormentor is like mixed quality for different lineups. We've seen games where the support duo is Pug and a Bat, and then you're like, eh.
Yeah.
This is Chen Shaker. These shards are amazing, both of them. Chen can get 2 Ancients. The Shaker gets the, what is that called actually? Does it have a name? No, it just says Fissure Upgrade. All right, whatever. But yeah, just allows him to walk on the Fissure and gives him the better Aftershock.
Yep.
So these are very, very valuable. I think a lot of the times teams maybe don't value that enough when they draft or when they think about killing Tormentor, because it's quote-unquote just something you do. You just kill the Tormentor because otherwise the enemy team gets it. But for your lineup in particular here, these shards are just S tier among the supports. These are 2 of the best support shards in the whole game, in my opinion. And they get both of them. But Snaking, unfortunately, did not get the second one for him. That went to Malrine, which is an S tier.
S tier.
Core shard, so
Yeah,
that's
dude.
fine. The one they didn't want is the Dragon Knight, and they couldn't get that one because he was top net worth.
How many cores buy their shard early? It's not too many.
It's,
Monkey King is one of them. So this one going to him is so good.
I think there's only really been 2, and I'm forgetting what the other one is. But we talked about it the other day. Monkey King buys his, and there's one more carrier.
Let's
see if I can find it here. TA.
Oh, yeah.
But those are the only 2 cores to me that have stood out as buying shard every game. But yeah, you got it for free on Monkey, so you get to scale better. Shaker shard being showcased there with the enchant stun.
What's right is they have BKB on Malik. So Team Spirit are pretty strong for a team fight, but they're going to have to wait 40 seconds here for Hoodwink to be back up into play. They need that extra bit of damage. These Falcons heroes are getting tanky. Depending on who we're talking about here, between the Dragon Knight or the Viper, these heroes are pretty statted up, and the break is valuable against them. Satanic. Just outside the range of that sentry, I think.
Bounty.
Yeah, looks like they're not going to find anything here. In the meantime, though, someone's finding someone, but who found who, really?
There goes that shard. He uses it and instantly TPs away. Without that shard, he might have been dead with the rotations that were coming across there.
Which begs the question, was he playing like that because he knew he could rely on his shard?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot more difficult for Spirit. They can't reliably catch him in ice shards anymore. They can't reliably hoodwink combo him because he can just jump away. They need to kill him in roar most of the time, Malrine.
They have such deep vision on the side of Falcons. They're playing to it now, smoked up. Knew the Shadow Fiend was somewhere around that mid area. They're going to cut down where they have a ward sentry. Possibly with the plan to lay down even more vision.
Uh-oh.
They're going to run into Malik. Now, Malik has a shield rune and he has BKB. He blinks forward past them a little bit here, and they chain stun him up, take down his shield rune pretty damn quickly, and his HP falls shortly after that. Now they've caught themselves a Laurel. Nature's Prophet. Requiem is going to go out. Satanic trying to bail out his mid laner. Now they focused on the Monkey King and will be able to. Oh, he got out the bound the strike. He went deeper into the base. As a result, the lifesteal gets him up, and he might actually survive. No way. He stays up. Satanic dies instead. Okay, that was unexpected indeed. Malrine lived in a 0-for-4 exchange once again. Falcons find a fight around that 20-minute marker. They just wiped the floor with the enemy team.
Some really clutch heals coming through here. From the Chen, the mech plus Hand of God, and then getting that Boundless off just at the end there for Malrine. Spirit used everything here to try to kill him. The whole combo, but the armor of Chen plus his own ring. Yeah, he had Divine Favor. He has 60 armor on Monkey King in the enemy base there. Ring plus Divine Favor plus mech plus heals, and then the Jingu Boundless. Icing on the cake. That was close, and if Spirit could have killed the Monkey King, that could have opened up the fight for more kills. As we talked about, seems like Roar is a necessity, and Malik... Oh.
I almost feel like that was a situation that could have been good.
Yeah.
If it was the Beastmaster getting the first spells off, he pops BKB and just roars with a shield rune. Like, surely you're going to survive a while and maybe your team can play to that. But instead, he just gets stunned, 100-0'd. And Team Spirit hoping that there was a Roshan opportunity after that Chen pick off. Cute. Sent the skeleton through the gate.
Oh, I thought you meant cute that they think Roche is up because it's a Capsint game, so it's obviously a 3-minute respawn.
No. I was talking about Mr. Skelly Bones there.
Yep.
He's a cutie pie.
I mean, despite everything that's happening, this is kind of, it's still fun to look at the net worth graphs, right? Because the cores are, yeah, Spirit's heroes are behind, but only a few hundred each.
Yeah.
And then it's just the supports that are, Shaker has the same net worth as the enemy supports combined, basically.
Smoke breaks. Got a stun, and they throw out the roar, but he got off the BKB first. So Skeeter is not easy to kill. The Tusk certainly is. Maposhka gets a knock up in the air. They try and shoot down Malrain. Nice trickery dodge for a little bit. Requiem goes out, and it does manage to hit a lot of these heroes, but it's Spirit on full retreat now. They're certainly going to lose more off of this one. Malik is going to be caught inside the Wukong's command. TP away from the SF. Barely makes it. Crit. Spotted him last second. Almost got him with the Fisher in time. Well, another multi-hero team fight where they get a bunch of kills and don't lose anything on the side of Falcons.
And this is their Roche now, too. He's just spawning. They have full control of the area. He's being pinged out by Skeeter.
Tower is under attack.
And more wants more, and more will get more. There's not much Spirit seemingly can really do about this. And we are approaching the part of the game where their lineup was meant to have done what Falcons did to them, namely take control, make early moves, get towers, be a threat. This Prophet versus Monkey King matchup has not worked out the way that Spirit had hoped, with being able to overtake the pace. Falcons inherently just doing a better job. They will be rewarded and Aegis for the Dragon Knight. Interesting that he takes it over the Monkey King. Wonder if high ground is on the cards here.
Yeah, it's got to be in consideration now. Maybe if he can get to AC before the Aegis expires, we'll see that high ground push. Failing that, maybe he'll just start some aggressive fights.
It's not even the most theoretically difficult high ground game either. You're not playing against any current displacement. It feels like Spirit's ability to fight is heavily tied to cooldowns. It's the Roar and it's the Shadowfeed BKB. So if you can burn those on your Aegis, it's gonna get found out.
Not getting that Blink Dagger for a while, so no saves inbound either. Almost got him on the Boundless Strike. Spotted him, hit him with the Gleipnir. Immediately BKB, TP out. I guess the upside is Falcons do not have anything to pierce that.
Wait, why did Malrain BKB? Did you think there was backup
Seeds
there?
of fortune.
Radiant's
idea.
courier has been killed.
Huh.
Misclick.
I don't know.
Speaking really fast.
That was a bit funny.
Radiant's top tower is
Crit
under
gonna
attack.
scout out Rue.
They're just finding pickoffs all over the map.
Looked like Crit could have almost soloed him.
Oh, yeah. They can just move around the map so quickly.
Radiant's
This Monkey
top
King
tower
is
has fallen.
everywhere with this facet. There's just no way that the Nature's Prophet can actually ever get a map advantage over Falcons at this point. They will take your second Tormentor. Love that they're doing it they're taking your Tormentor the most efficient time possible. They did it so quickly the first time around that they've done with the second one before it's 31 minutes.
And Amar, while pushing the tower, will get the shard.
Oh, nice.
So he's actually going to finish this through backdoor protection because they got the shard there. And yeah, they're just going to go high ground. I mean, Spirit, it's now or never. If this fight goes awry, you're out of the tournament. So, gotta find some sort of good angle, but it feels very difficult. These two dragons just beating into the tower very quickly. Hoodwink combo gonna miss.
Tower already gone. They get the break onto the Dragon Knight, so Satanic tries to swing a little physical damage at him. Amar swings back. Taking buildings quickly. Team Spirit just picked up this BKB on Laurel, and they can't even seem to use it. He just goes in,
no!
but he's gone. Mal gets off his BKB Roar, but he has to use that Roar to get back to the fountain. The Gleipnir goes out, hitting Maposhka. Maposhka hurt it, fell all the way
Laurel,
back.
what was that? He just walked in, didn't pop BKB, got fissured and died, and he just bought out.
Yeah,
He bought his BKB, he didn't even get to put it to use. They end up roaring for nothing. I mean, this is megas, right? Like, how are you doing anything now? You spent these key cooldowns, you're even gonna bleed heroes, too.
Continue to bleed out with the long-range poke that they have between the Boundless Strike and the Fisher. They can just kind of hit you.
Has fallen.
And they've got two frontliners in Amar and Skeeter who will not be pushed away. No matter what kind of harassment damage you do here, it's not going to be enough. Fisher lands on a Satanic. He's dead next. It is just done, it seems, for Spirit. They just seem broken at this point in time. Falcons destroyed them in game number 1, and game 2 is going to be even faster. Maureen jumping forward through the trees, breaking the smoke. They spot in the meanwhile the TP in play from Malik. He doesn't get anything off of it. Rue's going to die. Fisher block on him, Maposhka as well. Hero after hero. They are left with 7 kills at the end of the game. Team Spirit have been thoroughly outdone by Falcons.
All right, I'll say this. Bet Boom better be ready